You guys, I think this is it. I think this is the week we finish the edits. Well, the first round of edits. Hi, my name's Leanne Shaw. I'm an artist and a writer, and today we are another issue of The End Diaries. Chronologically, that's not the word. A chronicle of me writing book 4 of a trilogy, which is a fantasy romance set in Regency set, Southwest Wales, where our heroine has to hunt for Arthurian treasures, and there's a shape-shifting sea dragons. And yes, that didn't happen all in one take because there's a lot happening in the Modrigai Chronicles, not the least of which I am in the last stretch, I think, of this, and I've moved some pieces, so there is a fair amount of rewriting to go on this last stretch as well. I need to insert an entire scene. I need to do some other things. I need to insert an entire scene, and that even be 2 scenes. I've been keeping a list of things that just need a little fresh attention. And did I write down what chapter or what scene file name they were in? Not file name. Did I write down what chapter or what file name they were in? No, I did not. But at least it's chronological, and maybe I can figure it out, hopefully quite easily. But I'm not including that subject into just getting to the end of doing all the edits, to getting rid of all the lazy writing and so on and so forth. I read recently about how the word felt, like she felt or he felt or I felt a bit... I can't even say it without a passive tense, was that using the word felt was distancing. Like it didn't put you into the immediacy of the emotion, whereas if you described it, it would. But then, on the other hand, not to go overboard with describing. Well, I do a lot of shorthand when I do the first draft, so I am thinking that there's probably a few felts in there that need to be taken care of, and I will do that in round 2 of the edits. I'll talk about round 2 when we get there, and I think I have procrastinated long enough. I think I have to go do this. I even tidied up the studio today. Like, it was a bit hand-wavy, but things have been cleared up and mostly put away. She says, spotting something that has not been put away yet. Mostly put away. There's room on my desk once more. Let's get to writing. I may have forgotten to check off some scenes. Yeah, I just counted the scenes I've got left. I either didn't math or Scrivener didn't math. One of us didn't math. It's probably me. I know it also would have counted the secondary sources in this, but there aren't that many secondary sources. I'm pretty certain I'm going to finish the edits today. If not today, then tomorrow morning. But as I've been working through these last few scenes, I've been having second thoughts. The whole premise of this series is that Idothea is looking for Arthurian treasures to prevent the world from ecological collapse. How? Well, there was a spoiler, which has helped a little, but it's being taken advantage of. If you think back to the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution and the new technology that allowed weaving to happen faster, and not as well as an actual weaver, by the way, but faster. And so we had the Industrial Revolution, we had Luddites we had who were against the misuse of people in using this technology. They weren't against the technology itself necessarily. It was the mass production. It was the huge profit at the expense of the people who ran the machines, who lost limbs, died, etc. There was no workplace safety. So that's kind of like where we are with Ida Thea in this new book is 1819. And so the Industrial Revolution is underway and has been for about 40 years. So the ball is rolling. And, that's part of why there's this urgency to deal with it. I mean, there's this urgency now and we're not dealing with it. But anyway, and so I wrote this beautiful ritual at the end. And some things that came out of that. And one of them was that if you didn't accept this gift that the ritual gave, you became a person of the grey, a reflection of the ash and the absolute lack of life that Lear saw in his visions way back in book 1. I don't know if I still need people of the grey. I like the sound of it. But it became like really black and white. And what I've done this morning, I have sat down, I have journaled out what I think is the problem, which is just, it's too black and white. It's too light switchy. It's just too. I mean, these are people on the whole still very connected to the land and the sea in their daily life, unlike, many of us. So I have this scene, and then, these people become people of the grey and like reject the world. But then I started thinking, well, are we going to do that to like every industrial entrepreneur, that they're just going to reject the world? And well, that does have the benefit of freeing the gifted from their servitude. I just put in a spoiler there. I'm leaving it. You're going to forget it anyway. What does that mean? What does that mean for people in day-to-day lives? What does that mean for politics? What does that mean for the current state of the Industrial Revolution? What does it mean? What does it mean? And also, in recent days, I've been thinking about, well, the characters in my series are, starting to have kids. What's their children's world going to look like? And more importantly, is there a plot that I can put together so we can write about the kids? Because there's promise there. This morning I did some journaling. I agonized about this all last night. This morning I did some journaling, and then I was like, well, there was this book that kind of started me down this path, and I have to look it up. Sorry, looking it up. I knew I would have to. By Sharon Blackie. It's called If Women Rose Rooted, A Journey to Authenticity and Belonging. And it's all about how we've kind of like gone so completely inward that we've forgotten the land. Now, I could pretty safely say that the land remembers me, but I don't necessarily remember it. And actually, I'm a little bit afraid in Australia with all the poisonous creatures. So I have a long way to go, personally. But it reminded me that it's not a one and done. It's a process. So just as the gifting was the beginning of a new process, so is this second process. It'd be great if I had 3, because I do love things in 3s, but maybe that's the sequel. So I think I have come up with something of a solution. I was going to just sit here and talk to you until I figured it out, but I think I have figured it out. I think it's not a matter of all the nasty people that I don't like all my bad guys, just become people of the grey. It's more about everyone rediscovering their place in the world. And by that I mean their natural place in the world. By that I mean as a human being, as one of the many species on this planet, where do we fit in? What is ours to do? There's something in Genesis, blah, 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 about being, blah, 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 about being stewards of the land, which is, I think, actually King James translation of the word, the Hebrew word. It actually kind of means something more sustainable than like reaping whatever the heck you can get out of it. So I have a way forward. I have finally a way forward. And I was going to talk to you about that, but in between journaling this morning and skimming Sharon Blackie's book, kind of realized that if this is, as much as we are using magic and divine rituals, the work still needs to be done. So that leaves room for plot for the kids, for the next generation. But that also gives a way forward without, it was feeling like really didactic. You choose or you know, nature casts you out, basically. And that was just too abrupt to, I mean, how do you make an informed choice, right? Do you stick with what you know? And if you stick with what you know, are you rejecting? And so we're at the end of the book. So I'm going to try, I've written down 2 words, which I'm not going to say, because that is a spoiler for the end of the series. It's really difficult to show the result without telling the result. And that's what I'm actually really struggling with. Because the black and white version, like, the ritual happens, it, you know, disseminates out through the entire world, and people just suddenly go inward, crazy, start acting out in very strange ways. I mean, so, I have some outsiders come in landing on the beach at the end of the ritual because they've been looking for them. Because my characters are also on the run. A couple of them sort of like go nuts, and the rest of them are like, oh, I see everything now. It's plain to me. And yeah, it shows it well, but it shows it too simply. So what I think I need to do is be a little more complex in that. I think what there actually needs to be is no rejection at all. I wanted consent to be a part of it. I think I still do, because we all choose in our daily lives whether or not we're going to stand on the grass in bare feet. I mean, I wouldn't. There are bindies out there, green ants, but if you're living in a world, in a part of the world where standing on the ground in bare feet is not going to kill you, or at least cause you pain, maybe it should cause you pain. Maybe that's... Anyway, cosseting. I am rambling here, but what I needed to do is just, I wanted to have consent. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to have consent, the 2 words that I'm not going to say, and then it needs to be a growing into. It's not a magical da-da. I mean, the work is not over at this point. They need to kind of like shepherd or steward, or wish I could remember that word from the Hebrew. Let me look it up. This may actually help us. Hold, please. I have my iPad over here. Yeah, this is a part of also theology. There is, I can't remember the name of anything that I'm about to tell you. It's an eco-theology. Going back to Genesis, it's like a theology of creation and why we're here, which is the reason why the state has been important all along, even though it's kind of man-made. I wanted it to finish on the date of Easter, so it's finishing on a Sunday. Everyone's going in their Sunday best to church. Oh, I should do that. That would be a good addition. Apologies for the shaking. I'm writing things down on a wobbly table. There are 2 creation narratives in the Bible: Genesis 1, Genesis 2. Genesis 2, the human's role is to serve and protect the Garden of Eden. And the Hebrew word, the verb, is le'ovda, which means to serve it. So you're both master and servant, which, if you're Christian, this should be sounding a little familiar. Those shall be first, those who are first shall be last, and those who are last shall be first. The washing of the feet is another great Christian ritual to remind us of our place. So it's about, oh my God, I'm talking about 15 minutes already. So it's about, the creation theology is about taking care of the earth, looking after it, so that it's sustainable, balanced, and we know you don't have firestorms and thunderstorms and supercells and all that kind of thing. It doesn't cure the problem of evil, which I think was my problem with my ending. It was like all the bad guys become people of the grey and fade away. A nice, tidy ending, but too tidy. So now I have a complicated ending, which just sits here much better because that leaves the way open for finding ways forward. And what they have now is the gifting, and they have this new connection, or this reconnection to the land and the sea. How much of this I'm going to share with you, I don't know, because I pretty much gave away the ending of the book. But as this is a fantasy romance, we were kind of headed into the happy ending anyway. It's just the happy endings with the romance, not necessarily, well, and it is. It's a realization. It's an awareness. It's a conscious, it's an awakening. Oh, I'll put that word down. That's a good word, awakening. To what we've lost. This might be a bit anti-alignment, but that's okay. So it's the difference between being rulers, sovereigns of the earth, which is how Genesis 1 has been interpreted, or if we're stewards of the earth, which is like, we're not the king, there's only one. If you want to stick with the feudal, ancient order of society metaphor, there's only one at the top, and then the rest of us. So we are no lesser and no greater than, say, the green ants that I'm afraid of. We are like all, and we need to all work together to make this a sustainable place. So I have the ending. Thank you for letting me talk this through. I don't know how much that is going to air. I might have to put up a spoiler screen when I hit the epiphany. But yeah, we did it. We're done with the first round of edits. And I have a very talkative crow or raven outside. A couple of them. So first round of edits are done. I have structured the novel the way I think that I want to do it. I do have some words about structure, but we'll talk about that another day, I think. I am going to next, as I use Scrivener, compile it into a manuscript to print out. No, I think actually I might just export it as a PDF. And if I need to do any annotating, we can pray that the gods don't corrupt the PDF. Always seems to happen on my iPad. Maybe I do want to print it out. I hate when it's in the trees, and this is going to be a light edit. So what if we edit one day, like make marks in the iPad and put that into Scrivener the next day, theoretically, because if these should be light edits, and go from there. That way, if I lose something, I'll know what page I'm up to, theoretically, and I can keep going. That sounds like a good thought, doesn't it? So I think we might do that. I do want to read it through just for consistency flow. Maybe that'll be the last one. I am a little concerned. I've said things a couple of times still. Repeated stuff, so I need to, I think I fixed them, but again, a check is always good. So it has come in at 44 installments. A Sword for Wellington is 40 installments. So 44 installments, almost a year. They're longer chapters, like A Sword for Wellington's generally running longer, close to 3,000 words per chapter, per installment. Same for this one. There are a couple that are a bit shorter because I wanted to end dramatically. So you'll keep reading, of course. And it's coming in at about 112,000 words currently. So it's the longest in the series so far. No surprise. I think that's it. I'm going to see if I've got enough footage to wrap this up. If not, it's going to be a short one. Hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Or if you just found me for the first time, hi, I have an introduction hopefully at the beginning of this. I'm sure I do. If you've found this and you've enjoyed it, please check out my channel for more. And then I would love if you subscribed. No pressure. Like this video if you like this video. Also, you can read this for free over at the Mordred Guy Chronicles. It is a website/newsletter/thing. You can sign up to get the new installments. You can catch up on the website as to what's been put out so far, and that's at projectstarfish.substack.com. If you got this far, a pencil. No, if you got this far, let's do something celebratory. So whatever emoji that means to you, let's have a variety of them happening. And yes, so next steps, do another round of revisions. But we're celebrating. The first round is done. Yeah.